What happens when a man who could buy an airline is told he can't even sit on one of its planes? I'll tell you, it's not a story about money. It's about what happens when someone decides you're worth for you. Right there at the boarding gate, with everyone watching, thinking they know who belongs and who doesn't. So picture this: JFK Airport, Terminal 4, autumn sunlight pouring through those massive glass walls. And over at Gate C26, the world's about to turn upside down for a lot of very important people, all because of one quiet man in a simple suit and a woman who thought her uniform gave her the power to judge. Now, this gate agent, Brenda Jenkins, 40-something, hair so tight, it looks like it hurts, eyes sharper than the security scanners. She'd spent 2 decades watching the world's privileged float by, every smile or rolled eye a reminder of everything she'd never have. And it made her hard. You know, made her think she was the last line of defense for her first class. So when Julian Sinclair, in his neat charcoal suit and Patek Philippe, nothing flashy, just quiet confidence, stepped up to her counter with his first-class ticket to Dubai, she saw not a CEO, not a billionaire, but a man who, in her eyes, didn't fit the part. Too young, too calm, too black. You know what I mean? She checked his passport, pretended to find an issue with his seat, said it was double-booked, business was full. She'd have to put him in premium economy, seat 24B, middle row. The kind of move you make to let someone know they don't belong. The people in line shifted, uncomfortable but silent, and the guy behind Julian, Abernathy, loud blazer, family money, whole 9 yards, just grinned, happy to watch. Brenda told Julian to step aside, to stop making a scene, her voice cold as winter steel. Julian didn't argue, didn't get angry. He just took back his passport, said, "I understand," and stepped away. That's the moment, right there, right in front of everyone. The moment you feel the air change, even if you don't know why yet. That he sat down at a window, called Evelyn, not just his assistant, but the one person you want on your side when things go nuclear, and told her to activate Protocol Acropolis. She didn't ask why, not really. She knew what it meant. A few keystrokes, a single phone call, and a quiet storm started brewing under the skin of JFK, invisible but absolute. Within minutes, every screen running Helios Secure Logistics, the software that runs every gate, every baggage cart, every damn ground vehicle, froze solid. The system didn't crash. It just paused. Planes locked in place. Pilots couldn't push back. Passengers sat in their plush seats, drinks untouched, wondering why nothing was moving. Brenda tried to log back in, but her screen just showed a line of cold white code. Do not attempt to reboot. Stand by for authorization. Up and down the terminal, radios went dead. The place turned into a maze of confusion, panic blooming like a rash. Up in the airless conference room at Global Wings Air HQ, CEO Marcus Thorne was getting the first tremors. Calls from the COO, the head of IT, everyone screaming about a total blackout. It wasn't until Evelyn called, her voice cool as glass, that he got the real story. Julian Sinclair had been denied his seat, publicly humiliated, and every ounce of pain was now coming due, with interest. "Come to the gate and explain it yourself," Evelyn said. Not a request, a summons. Imagine that, the CEO of a global airline, forced to race across New York in a helicopter just to answer to the one man his staff had decided to ignore. In the terminal, Marcus found Julian waiting. Calm, detached, everyone else in chaos. But he was unshaken, even a little bored. The talk wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but the words cut deeper than any headline could. "It wasn't a misunderstanding," Julian said. "It was a judgment. Your employee decided I didn't belong. She lied. She humiliated me, in public, on your company's behalf. That's not customer service. That's your culture showing itself." Marcus promised to fire Brenda, to issue a public apology, to donate to charity, anything to make it go away. But Julian wasn't interested in a payoff or a PR move. "You still think this is about appeasing a customer? It's about consequences." That's when Brenda, realizing what she'd set in motion, tried to plead her case. Tears, apologies, 22 years on the job. But to Julian, her fate was already sealed. "That's just basic sanitation," he said, and Brenda was escorted out, a casualty of her own arrogance, stripped of the power she thought she owned. But the pain wasn't over. As the hours dragged on, Global Wings Air was coming apart at the seams. The website crashed, the app died, pilots couldn't check schedules, passengers started revolting. News broke, stock halted, rivals poached stranded customers. And then the twist. Evelyn revealed the real reach of Ethelred Holdings. Not just tech, but jet fuel, plane leases, insurance. Every major artery of Global Wings ran through Julian's invisible web. He could strangle the company with a single text. The airline wasn't just paralyzed. It was on the edge of death. Calls came in from investors, from the Emirates Investment Authority. Billions pulled overnight, the future collapsing in real time. Up in his private jet, Julian watched it all from 45,000 feet, sipping tea, not celebrating, just resolved. He wasn't here for revenge. He was here for a reckoning. He'd tested the company, found it rotten, and delivered a verdict the only way power understands. Total annihilation to S.O. Here's the lesson in the ruins of Global Wings Air. Karma in the real world isn't poetic or gentle. It's precise, brutal, and sometimes it's delivered by the very person you underestimated the most. Brenda saw a man she could brush aside and set off a domino chain that burned her whole world down. Marcus ran a company where small prejudices festered, never imagining that one bad judgment at one gate could bring it all to dust. But that's how it happens. Every action, a reaction, and sometimes the cost of prejudice is paid in full by everyone around you. Now let me ask, what would you have done in Julian's shoes? Was his response justice or a step too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about what's fair, what's right, and how one person's decision can change everything for a whole world of people watching. If you found this story worth your time, hit that like, share it with someone who needs a reminder, and subscribe for more real stories where power, pride, and karma collide. But that wasn't the end, not by a long shot. You see, while Marcus Thorne was left reeling in the chaos of a company on the verge of collapse, news was already breaking across every financial wire on the planet. The hashtag Global Wingsgate trending, CEOs texting each other, hedge funds licking their chops, wondering just how cheap the bones of this once mighty airline would sell for come Monday morning. Reporters circled the airport, passengers took angry videos, flight crews wept in break rooms, everyone scrambling for answers, while the person at the center of it all walked away without even looking back, his security detail parting the crowd like a shadow moving through water. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. A few hours after Julian's G800 disappeared into the stratosphere, a quiet meeting took place in a glass tower far above Manhattan, where the real owners of rival airlines watched. The live-streamed meltdown and started dialing old contacts. Because in this world, one man's vengeance is another man's opportunity. Before the sun even set, a syndicate of 3 international carriers had pooled resources, intent on buying up what was left of Global Wings gates, slots, and most prized employees, while Brenda, now blacklisted from every major airline in the country, sat alone in a motel room, watching her face go viral for all the wrong reasons. Julian, meanwhile, didn't say a word to the media, didn't tweet, didn't grant interviews. To him, the entire episode was already filed away, another data point in a world where power moves quietly, like money moving through offshore accounts. But if you looked a little closer, you'd notice something. He made sure that every employee who'd kept their head, who'd shown decency or doubt in those tense hours at Gate C26, received offers for jobs in his expanding logistics empire. Even Sarah, the flight attendant who had risked a warning to her supervisor, was personally recruited. In the aftermath, the story wasn't just about a company brought low by prejudice, but about the invisible lines of loyalty and decency that survived even a corporate firestorm. By the next morning, when markets opened, Global Wings Air was a penny stock, its name synonymous with catastrophic failure, a cautionary tale in business schools before the wreckage was even cleared from JFK. Yet if you asked Marcus Thorne, sitting alone in his ruined office, what he'd learned, he might finally tell the truth. All the spreadsheets in the world can't save you from the split-second judgments your frontline people make every single day. Yes. Oh, maybe the real ending isn't revenge or justice. It's the quiet, inconvenient realization that you can't automate respect, you can't insure against bigotry, and you can't always see the reckoning coming until it's standing right there at your gate, wearing a calm suit and waiting for someone to do the right thing. And now I'll put it to you. Did Julian go too far? Or was his response exactly the wake-up call the world needed? What would you have done if you were Brenda, or Marcus, or even one of the silent bystanders at Gate C26? Would you have spoken up, or kept your head down like everyone else? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the lines between justice and destruction have never been thinner, and we all have a stake in deciding where that line should be. If this story hit home for you, share it, start a conversation, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next true drama where a single decision changes everything. Because in this world, you never know who's watching or what it might cost you to forget the price of simple respect.